Killjoy and the Sova. Meanwhile, we will have ourselves a Sage on the field. So Sky is substituted out for the Sage. Meanwhile, the Killjoy is back, which, to be fair, makes sense. The Killjoy generally does do well on Ascent. And, you know, that's what they're there for. Place those little turrets down, be an annoyance, and, yeah, keep them as far away from that spike as possible.
Well, if production could slap on an overlay so I could see which team was which, that would be super. Look at you doing the thing. Thank you.
They were distracted. They were distracted by the cute little turret, you know.
Yeah,
you gotta
that's
love
what
your little bump
That's
buddy.
what distracted them, yes. Well, no jets on either side yet, which is very interesting, but we do still have some of those duelists, and Sephia really taking duelists to that next level.
Yeah, and a lot of picks coming up in the pistol round nice and early. The Frenzy is getting themselves in the midst of things as well. Wielded by Liliano as the gate does drop on down. So Giuliano's going to just rotate back just a little bit here. XSET with the spike. Naturally, as you can see that, it's going to be Sova backed up with the Astra and the Phoenix. It's a 3-on-3 situation, although the Reyna is hurt, but that can all change if they do get a pick. And goodness me, sweeping them off their legs. It is a 2v2 now in this situation. And the Athena is coming on up, but they immediately picked out by the Phoenix. And that will give XSET the time to plant.
There it is. We start to see how XSET are going to be able to abuse this map without gimmicks, hopefully to their advantage, because of course they want an opportunity to stay in this. Daddy, last person standing in that 1v2.
This is going to be very dangerous. Arrow is going to come out, so again, gives them some kind of information, but they've got one of their own. Headshot with the Ghost. Gets us into a 1v1 situation as Daffy comes on down. Trades it for another Ghost, I guess. Why the heck not? Misses the, missed the first shot. Down to 8 health. I don't think they'll get the defuse. Even if they win this, they do get the headshot. But it won't be enough time to defuse. So that will be the first point on the board for XSET. Goodness me, that nearly went to Kafalar's side, but just in the nick of time, stalled it out long enough.
I mean, it's like we said, you know, they have that Counter-Strike background, so they know what to do. It's a 2v1 situation. How do we do this? Spike's already down. We play for time. And that's what they did. They did that beautifully, perfect handling of that. Yes, they all die in the process, but they net themselves the round win, and that is the most important part. Now, again, we come into this next round. We're expecting some light buys here. Very light, as if history is anything to go on from this team. And then we'll see if they can leverage that. Some nice defaults across the map. Information gathering both in mid and towards the A and B sites. But the spike yet to pick a direction just yet. Oh, and mid is just free.
Yeah, that's not an area you want to be giving up anytime soon. And Zito is going to rinse right on through the Killjoy. Flash is going to come out, but he's really there for it. As Julius and Sephia combined managed to take Mimi out of the equation. So 4v4 situation now follows. And they're slowly coming in to the site. And that is going to be a quick, well, I was going to say one quick poke leading to another. Spike will be down again for XSET. This time over on B. And it's a 4-2 advantage that they possess here.
Yeah, you can see that XSET really starting to feel themselves here. The 2-player advantage, and look at these crossfires set up here. It's not a triangle, it's a proper square. No one can get onto the site, and it's just clean up towards the end there. A really, really good round here off the back of this. Great opening frag from Zizo, and then of course, mid was free. So once they have both the A main, or rather the B main entrance and the entrance from Market cleared out, it's so easy, it's so free to just walk onto site. Now they do have that bonus round available to them, but of course they know that they're going to be coming up against rifles. It's round 3. Kafalar have lost the first 2 pistol rounds. This is pretty telegraphed stuff. What isn't telegraphed, however, is how they're going to play this defense, knowing that they have that advantage. And it looks like XSET's going to be going for a hard A hit with a lurk towards Catwalk. We'll see how that pans out as Kafalar start to take very, very slow control of the map.
Little by little, it starts to emerge. And with a 2-point lead in the early stage, XSET will want to try and ebb this out as long as they physically can. That experience from CSGO starting to pay dividends for them. As Sephia just sits on the high ground for the time being. Just waiting for somebody to poke on through, but nobody wants to take that first move just yet. Everyone's just sort of like just waiting for the other to hop on forward first. We are going to finally have a smoke dropped on down. Sophia just going to have a little linger in there, but nothing, again, nothing serious for the time being. Jules with the high ground gets the first pick, and that is going to set Kafalar up quite nicely. But again, spikes down on A.
Oh, the timing on that was so spicy. But Spike has been planted, as you've said. And XSET, such good crossfires. Yeah. Oh my goodness, sees the barrel of the gun, but still loses the 1v1.
And a double for the Reyna in the midst of all of that as well. Killjoy drops on down. That's a triple for Julius, and that is going to be that. That is a flawless for them. The spike is going to be defused. Nobody left from XSET. And beautifully done from Kafalar. Again, some really good pokes. That high ground again, advantage from Julius. Just drops on down and somehow winning on the peak.
Honestly, from seeing the barrel of the gun and then losing that 1v1, you have to expect the swing. You have to be pre-firing that, and she just wasn't. And that was a very, very unfortunate one because they were already one player down at that point. So, bit of a spicy start, bit of a spicy round. But XSET are still able to buy here. And we'll see if they can continue, if they can convert this into another round win. As Kafalar have, once again, taken very strong control of the map. These are very, very standard positions across the map, making sure you've got as many angles covered as you can. But this is interesting because they're giving up mid again, and this is precisely where the spike seems to be leading, or leaning for the moment.
At the moment it seems to be that way, but we all know anything can and will change in this game as Sage and Phoenix start to move on towards B. Now, a whole lot of utility put down, but the Killjoy is out of the equation, so won't need to worry about that anymore. Gets themselves healed up nicely, but Daddy is well waiting there in the midst of it all. Gets the initial spray, but doesn't get the kill. Tries to fire on through. A shock bolt should do it. A shock bolt does do it. Very cheekily, but very cleverly done. Gets themselves a double. Can't get the triple, though, as Astra finally pops them down. But again, that has helped them massively.
Oh, it's so important to check Boathouse. I mean, that's exactly what Julius did. As soon as they get onto site, they realize they gotta check Boathouse. That's where their teammate died. And it was very surprising that XSET didn't check that. And of course, it cost them dearly. Down to the last player, only a few seconds left, and now it's all about exit frag. One enemy. Yo! 2 exit frags! That's actually so huge for XSET. That's going to do a lot to try and dent that economy just a little bit. They do lose the round, so that's going to even us out at 2-2. But hopefully it's enough to cause XSET, or rather to cause Kafalar to not have as good of a buy. This was such a good attempt at trying to get those last kills. Oh, and XSET forced down to an eco themselves. Unfortunately, were not able to put too much of a dent into Kafalar, so they come into this at a massive gunner disadvantage. But they do have 2 pretty big ultimates here. We're going to start with Kafalar's run it back, though, to get some information, which is massive, because she's going to be able to relay back that there is absolutely nothing on B. It's all A, and the rotations will start coming through.
Yeah, and you get the feeling that's exactly what is going to happen. They're going to have that spike planted by the time they all get that. They're starting to appear now, but again, that is done and dusted. Quickly rotates back into the corner. And gives themselves a little bit of breathing spot, trying to figure out where Kafalar Blue are going to be emerging in from. Zephyr already sprays on from the high ground. They've got Killjoy up there for help. The feed, oh my goodness me, what happened there? It bolted upwards.
It bounced off of the turret, I think, and then just went on like its own little mini adventure.
I mean, they caught everybody off guard on that one. There's a 3v3 situation now. Woo! As they all start to drop. XSET have 2 people up. It is just Petra up. Does get a shot with the Sheriff, and that will be that. It will get themselves the point despite everybody being down, because they weren't able to defuse that, and everyone drops.
That is massive. This was an eco round for XSET. So realistically, they shouldn't have won this. But such a quick rotation towards the A site. They get the spike down and they manage to play for time. And at the end of it, the last players from Kafalar die to the spike, which has forced Kafalar onto a janky buy. And XSET are able to full buy this round. It is nuts how good that round was for XSET, and it was totally unpredicted. This is massive. Now, XSET have a lockdown available, so they can potentially use that to try and aggress in onto site. But remember that this is an anti-eco. They have the gun advantage. Oh my goodness. And then that happens.
Yeah. Not the exchange you want to see, but still, both teams do lose a player in the early stages of this point. And again, Sheriff on hand for Reyna. Well, I was going to say it was a drop on both, but hey, guess what? We have a Sage in this match now. The res is going to come up and immediately go into seat and just immediately hit the deck. They did their job, they got the res, and then immediately get a heck out of there. But still, XSET with the player advantage.
Only 2 players for Kafalar here. They know exactly where both of those players are, so they can call that information. It's a free plant over on the A side. And Crassie's just going to hold this angle. As soon as somebody peeks through, either she's going to get the kill. No, she doesn't. So she's going to relay that information. She's died. Oh!
A lot of spray there from Giuliano, but finally gets the kill. Last second a headshot. You like to see it. And XSET survived with 3 players up. 4-2 lead.
Insane round here once again for XSET. And this was so needed. Especially after that first map. I really feel like I was saying this kind of towards the second half, but XSET really starting to like feel themselves here as we continue along. Now, finally, we have sheriffs across the board. So this is where things are really on even footing for the most part. However, Kafalar again have 3 ultimates here. Now they have the lockdown and the Hunter's Fury. If XSET's lockdown comes out, they can shut it down, and they can put down a lockdown of their own once they get a read on where the site or where the where XSET are planning to go, which site they're planning to head into. And once again, mid is completely free. And we're going to see XSET start to push forward a little bit now. They've fired down the alarm bot. And this is great because that is intended to make it seem like they're going through mid. But in fact, Spike's making its way over towards B.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything checking B at the moment, is there? There's a couple of utilities, but nothing really. And they are making their way all the way into there, so we are going to see the ult dropping on down. The turret will now alert the rest of Kafalar Blue that, yep, XSET are indeed all pretty much parking up on B. The spike surely will go down there, you would assume it would do, and it does. And Petra now keeps an eye out, see if they get anything with that. They can't, and in fact, we've got a counter ult going up as well.
Hunter's Fury never came out, which is very interesting. And now we've got the lockdown as well as the Empress coming through. 1 person left alive. Actually gets 1. Gets 2? Oh. Good try. Good try.
Yeah, I was gonna say it would have been amazing if that had played out. The fact that he even got 2 is still impressive. I mean, XSET are doing pretty well with that, it must be said. They're still able to get kills when you least expect them to. And they are absolutely holding their own there. But unfortunately, just the numbers just a little too much for them on that situation. And that is going to finally give them what they needed. The triple in the end for the Reyna as well. So really coolly done. Kafalar Blue keeps themselves just a point behind XSET. And this is indeed a lot closer than I said it was going to be close, but this is much closer than the first match was.
And now XSET again in a very weird position as they've got 1 Spectre on the board, which is never ideal. And they burnt quite a few ultimates. Both teams, in fact, burnt quite a few ultimates in that last round, and it was a pretty important one. It's a pretty important round for Kafalar here as well. So they do need to kind of keep themselves in this game. They've still managed to hold on to that Hunter's Fury, which is pretty huge. And they've got the run it back, which will give a lot of information if they want to go and find out exactly what's going on.
Yeah, just be a massive question if they can use it to their advantage at this stage. Again, it's mostly utility dropped up over on B, whilst they're all spread out across A for the most part. And it looks like XSET are thinking about pushing on in if they want to, and it looks like It is all starting to come out. I think that was the projection coming out as well for Astra. And it's going to be Kafalar's Astra that goes down immediately. Giuliano gets themselves a headshot as well. So XSET with 2 plays up, and once again another successful plan.
Now this is a really good, once again, that post-plant situation. XSET have been really good at holding on to these. Starting to get a little bit better with that util as well. But we're going to see Kafalar approach this as a 3-stack potentially. First to run it back to get the information. Well, that's quite a bit of information, actually.
And a couple kills in there. That is going to be the run it back done. And Giuliano was just waiting for them to respawn. That is a triple kill. And XSET, again, take another point away.
That's always going to be a difficult situation to find yourself in. You know, particularly when XSET had such good control of the map already from like various different angles. So to try and push into that, particularly on that B site, never going to be easy. So now, bit of a janky buy from Kafalar once again. XSET seem to be full bought up, which is pretty good. And they still have managed to hold on to their run it back. Speaking of holding on to, Kafalar have been holding on to this Hunter's Fury for quite some time. Haven't used it just yet. Not even to clear any angles. But I like seeing that Kafalar have not left mid completely free this time. I think they've realized too many times that they've lost out rounds because they were... Oh no! Oh, mid-util usage. No, lineups kill.
That was tragic. Nothing else to be said about that, I'm afraid. And that means that XSET have a player advantage for the time being. 3 versus 2. And they are all rotating off to A with, once again, another successful plan. Fury is going to come out this time round. Will they actually catch anybody with that? The answer is no. No pick with that at all.
Trying to deny that spike plant from coming through, but unfortunately... Oh, listens for the footsteps, knows that someone's coming, manages to get one. It's a good trade. Brings it down to the 2v1. Dati has all of her team's hopes and dreams on her shoulders here. That might be an overly dramatic description, but, you know.
Yeah, you get the general idea, though. It's a 2v1 situation. Biding their time in the smoke, and unfortunately, just could not come... Lines are going completely out of my head. Could not cope, but yeah, that was unfortunate for the Reyna. Just completely taken by surprise by the Phoenix. I don't think they were expecting them to push so quickly into them. As a result, that just went away from them. And XSET find themselves 6-3 up. Are we seriously looking at a repeat of the previous few matches here, where it just seems like each team take it in turns to start, or to end the first half, the stronger?
Well, it's good to see that there's some real back and forth between these teams. That was kind of what we were talking about towards the end of the last series as well. We love to see this kind of thing, so... It's almost full buys across the board. There is one Guardian online for Kafalar, and that's unfortunately going to be Athena. But the rest of it... Ooh, that's a good pick. Just as the smoke is chilling there. And that takes the Sage off the board, so they're not going to be able to build up more to that res.
Run it back coming up for Julian. We are going to see on both sides of the field. That is massive, actually. The run it back finally ends. The Fury came out again. And that is going to be Petra getting themselves on the board. Cuts themselves back into the advantage. And another successful plant for XSET.
And a nice blaze wall there just to shut down any potential sight lines. Oh, Judas knows exactly where they came from. It gets spotted out, but it doesn't matter.
XSET are looking to get that 7th point, and they're pretty much at a very good position to do so. It is just the Sova and the Phoenix. Make that just the Phoenix, as Asher just completely catches them round the corner. And now, well, unfortunately not able to get that hit that they were looking for. The triple comes up for Giuliano. And that is 7-3 to XSET. Would you believe it?
I'm really impressed with the turnaround. This was something that I was kind of hoping to see. But again, I feel like they're more leaning on their strategic play and their gunplay. Things like flashes, smokes, mollies, these are things that they're used to. It's things that they know really well. In terms of other utility, and that's why we can see they're not really utilizing too much of things like Jet. You know, it's really unheard of in Counter-Strike. So they're leaning into agents that fit into what they're more familiar with, and it's working out really well for them as well. And I'm really enjoying seeing this resurgence from them. Sorry to cut you off there.
No, absolutely fine. Nothing wrong with that whatsoever. As the Sheriff hit is going to find his mark a little bit. Lazio already down to 2 HP. And not a great start for them in the slices. And XSET look to end the 7-5 curse. Goodness me. Zizo with the first pick, and it all starts popping off. Now it's Chrissy who is all the way down to 3 HP. XSET do have the player advantage. Another successful plant. And that looks like XSET could be looking at an 8-point advantage. Well, 8 points to 3. And that would absolutely break this 7-5 curse that we've been seeing. Because again, up on the high wall goes the Sage. Another pick onto the Soba. And that is that. No 7-5s for the first half this time around. XSET are on 8.
Wow, what an amazing display here from XSET. So much better than what we saw on that first map. Now we're down to the very last round in the half. So of course this is a very important one to win out for both of these teams. If Kafalar win it, then of course it comes down to that best of a bad situation, the 8-4. It's your best chance, your most realistic chance at being able to turn things around at the half. But if XSET win it out, that's the 9-3, and they only need like 4 points to win the game. And that's what, 2 pistols plus 2? This is a good start here for Kafalar to take down Giuliano. This is looking a lot better. There is a res available, but of course that went down in mid. It's going to be very difficult to res that.
Yeah, I was going to say, Phoenix went for the flash, unfortunately walked straight on out, and Kafalar was not hanging around for it. The res does come up, so it's back to square one. And obviously, it is the last point before the half, so use up your ult where you can. Both Killjoys with an ult. Crucially, Kafalar does have an ult as well on the Astra, but it is going to be Rafina who goes down first now.
Mimi actually manages to win that one out. This is massive, but of course they have to be aware. Yes, they are. They're aware that the entirety of Kafalar have already rotated towards A site, so now it looks like they're leaning back towards B. And this is fantastic. What a good read, but they are being very slow about this. It's not going to take very long for Kafalar to figure out that this is exactly what's going on. So you send Giuliano up through mid, and if a rotation starts to happen, she's going to be able to call that one out. The alarm bot is there, though. So once that information goes off, beautiful, waiting for the Killjoy to be out of range. Oh my goodness, so huge. The rotation is going to be so late to come through now.
Yeah, that was beautifully timed, patiently played from Giuliano, but couldn't get the first pick. But again, it stalled the time long enough for XSET to get the spike, but that is now going to give Lazio the chance to go in with the ult of their own, and that is a very dangerous position for XSET to be in. They might just get away with it, just tucked into the boathouse, and I think Kafalar will very much know that they will try and go for the sweep, but they didn't check! They didn't check again! Mimi gets a triple!
What is a corner, and how do I, what's the word? Check. Oh, and the swing from Zizo to get that last kill in the round. This is why it's so important. That particular corner, this one right here, it is so popular to hide out in. And if you're not checking it, you are setting yourself up to get, well, shot in the back. What a good round from XSET. A massive turnaround from map 1. I'm blown away. And again, this is 9-3. 4 points, and XSET will win this map.
Yeah, how quickly the turns table. Yeah, how great to see. Sorry, it's great to see that. And before we do get into our next match, I just want to quickly give a little shout out to Runapia, who's coming in with that raid. Greatly appreciate that. Welcome on in. You've got some high octane Huntress trials action happening. Kafalar Blue might be up in this set by 1-0, but they are behind in this second match by 9 points to 3 as we enter the second half.
Oh, all the spice in the world, yeah, but of course this is where things start to get spicy because this is the defending round for XSET. So, do they manage to maintain this streak? Ooh, that's a good early pick.
Yeah, that XSET went down incredibly early, but having said that, though, Giuliano gets themselves another headshot in the back. Petra down to 10 HP, but still manages to go in and still gets a pick against the Astra.
Oh, no.
So XSET 3-2 here, and they are hanging on in there. You feel like, well, they can't drop the spike. The spike is literally on the ledge to the right of them, I believe.
Oh, the spike's on the wrong side of the map. 2v2. It's the imposter syndrome here for both of these players. Well, all four, I guess. Oh my goodness.
It's like, they know that they're gonna be there. They know it's gonna be a dangerous peak and a half. And, well, it's a pincer. They can't get it.
Oh.
They can't get either of them. They both ran straight towards the Killjoy. And guess who was waiting for them? It was the Sova. And so through it all, XSET take the pistol round.
Honestly, it's one of those things where you're just like, where do I aim? Where do I go first? Which side do I swing to? But a solid defensive round there from XSET. They played that again very, very well. It's that mechanical, strategic understanding that they bring through from Counter-Strike. These are TAC FPS players through and through.
I
But we'll
believe
see
this
now.
is... Sorry, I think that's a 6-point streak now for XSET if I saw that scoreboard correctly, which just goes to show how comfortable they are at this stage, especially with a 7-point lead. Well, Kafalar Blue have it all to do. It looks like they're all gathering towards A, and they are absolutely running straight into A.
Oh, door's gonna come down. Oh, the information from the recon dot. Oh, you've gotta check that.
Headshots are plenty. As XSET again give themselves a player advantage. Julio just spamming on in with the ghost. Not quite getting the pick that they were after. Ready in the flash. Gets the flash. And not quite able to get the pick they were looking for either. But that's okay because Zizo gets themselves a double. But that is that. XSET with another point in the bag. 11-3 is the score.
Now, if there's going to be a place for the turnaround to happen, it's gonna be now. Usually, there's like two key momentum swing points, and that's on the 3rd round and on the 5th round. So here, this is interesting because we're not seeing a full buy from Kafalar because like they forced up in the previous round, and so that's just completely backfired on them. Maybe we're not going to see that momentum shift. We'll see how well they play this. Of course, it's janky buys all around, so there's definitely still potential here to make that one happen, but they don't have that massive gun advantage that they would have wanted to have coming into this round.
Daddy in the middle as well. Look at how much utility has been dropped over on A. Tasty headshot from Daddy, but unfortunately caught in the midst of reloading. So that will be that for them on this point. 4 versus 3 though still for XSET. They're consistently getting in there with the player advantage. And in fact, Kafalar are down to 2 now. But again, doesn't matter. They get themselves a pick in there. It is just Reyna left who gets in with the overheal and quickly switches out the weapon.
Ooh, 1v2 here. Oh, footsteps. Quite loud. And the last 2 XSET players, not terribly split up, so there should be some potential here to be able to swing on one another. But again, I mean, these footsteps are so loud. It's so obvious. Oh, a little bit unfortunate there.
Yeah.
Felt like... So the idea is to try and get exit frags, but like you need to be a little bit more careful if that's your end goal. Now as we continue along, you know, we're going to be on match point now. And, okay, we've got an operator on the board here. XSET mean business. And Kafalar, because they forced up 2 rounds back and lost those 3 rounds in a row, they have 1 Vandal, 2 Bulldogs, a Spectre, and a Sheriff. This is not ideal.
Yeah.
Layla, looks like we could be heading to that map 3.
Yeah, well, Icebox might be making a grand return, would you believe it? Twice in one stream. It's more likely than you think, it seems. As the drone is going to come out, location has been revealed. Mimi has to quickly hop on the back foot. As we see everybody just bide their time slowly but surely. Petra, again, keeping an eye on the door. Quickly starting to rotate back the way, it seems. You just wonder if Kafalar are going to commit here to B.
You should run.
Oh, there's the lockdown. So that's gonna potentially allow them some space to move on to site. But of course, Petra knows the strat. And so is trying to find as much information as she can. Spam through the smoke, gets counter-spammed. Good grief. What a good shot there from Daddy.
Res is going to come in though, but immediately loses the Killjoy instead. So it is going to be a successful plant. Kafalar are doing absolutely everything. XSET have won 8 points in a row up to this point. And now they're not only going to have to go through with a player disadvantage, but they also have to defuse. And that is going to be 2 down, make that 3 down. They managed to get 2 picks of their own, but it is just Krista who is on the point, catches the Killjoy. 2v1 situation, but caught in the end by Reina.
Wow, what a play here from Kafalar. This was impressive stuff to be getting so much results. So they had one person with a Vandal who manages to get that opening pick off, and the rest come through, and it's just clean up with the Bulldogs. Such a good round. Now they're now able to buy up fully, and they forced XSET onto one of those janky buys. Now, XSET can afford to lose 1 or 2 rounds here. There is a massive, massive buffer zone. But they don't want to invest too much. They want to make sure that they're able to, on a round where they can full buy, they have all of their utility, some ultimates available so that they can get a clean sweep in that last round. Kafalar Blue are coming into this. Have they just dropped 3 ultimates in the first 4 seconds?
I think that's exactly what they've done. If you call that eye on the money. Yeah, you can see all of that green all being utilized. The spike is going to get planted. The Fury is going to come out as well. It's all kicking off as Killjoy gets the kill on Phoenix in the midst of all that. Latu is going to convert it on in, but they do get themselves a double on the board. But crucially for Kafalar, they have a 5-2 advantage here.
I mean, okay, great. You drop 3 ultimates and you win the round, because let's face it, they're gonna win the round. I mean, there's no way that XSET come back from this. They're probably just gonna try and hold on to their rifles, and they're not even going for exit frags. They're just gonna go hide out on B. So, yeah, you've won the round, but what do you have coming into the next round? Every single round is match point from here on out. You have to string together 9 rounds in a row, 8 if you include this one. You know, like you chop it up, you include it in the rounds that they've already won. And so you have very little coming into this next round. So how do they make this work? I really want to see these buys. I want to see how do they... Okay, so there's still a full buy up here from Kafalar. An XSET. Not able to full buy, it seems. Yeah, there's 2 players that are going to be a little bit janky. And they have 2 ultimates available to them. It's going to be difficult. There's rifles aplenty for Kafalar, and they have the Huntress Fury. So that's quite a bit to work with. But XSET still have 2 of those ultimates. And, okay, they've got 1 on a Ghost. That puts them at a little bit of a disadvantage. If XSET play this... Oh, they're just investing the runner back. That's a lot of info.
You should run.
Yeah, they're going straight on in with it, and the EMP comes out as well, but that is going to be Killjoy done and dusted. And XSET are actually going to lose 2 in the midst of all of this, but finally the server does drop on down. But yeah, a 4-2 advantage again for Kafalar. You did say it was a bit of a janky buy, and again another successful plan for Kafalar Blue. So they get in the points where they matter, and well, waited for it, looks the other way. Sage is going to go down immediately, and I don't think the Phoenix realized they were up there, pincered out by the old points. And that is going to be another successful one for Kafalar.
I would have liked to have seen XSET being a little bit more conservative in that round with their buys, so that coming into this round, they would all be able to full buy, and they would have had ultimates available to them. In fact, investing the run it back, I think, was a little bit of an overcommitment there. If they had been frugal, if they had opted to not super buy up, then this round they would have had full Vandals, and they would have still had their run it back available. But what's done is done. They're coming into this on an eco, so they will very likely lose this round. And it's how they turn it around in the next round, potentially, that's going to matter here. Because Kafalar... Oh my... Okay, Petra. Cool. That's fine. Just win on an eco. I don't care.
God, could you imagine if they win on an eco? That would be
God.
pretty spectacular, and it would be quite the slap in the face, it must be said, as XSET have a 2-player advantage. Killjoy just a little bit hurt, but got a Sage to heal them up if they absolutely need to. And again, it looks like it is going to be the A that is going to start getting themselves swamped up on here. Spike will go down. So we'll see if Kafalar can still manage to get a point out of this. It is pretty much, well, all in for them at this stage in time. They know they're full well if they lose this point, they are going to see themselves into match number 3.
2 players do manage to get upgraded guns. They drop the Cosmic Divide, but oh my goodness, it's so back and forth. Last player left alive.
No way.
Oh my goodness, no freaking ways.
No way. It's a 1v1. They're both so hurt. They're going to go for the defuse to try and top them out. And it clutch. I cannot believe the clutch.
Oh my god, my heart cannot take that round. That was ridiculous. It just was so back and forth off the back. Okay, so XSET off the back of picking up just 2 rifles from getting those 2 opening kills, manages to bring this down to a 1v1, but Cressy was not able to pick up a rifle. She manages to get the halfway, but the swing is good at the end, and even if she had a rifle in her hand, I doubt she wins that out. That was just way too close for comfort for Kafalar. But now here's that point that I was talking about, where we have the rifles across the board. Now XSET have a lockdown available, which is going to do a lot to shut down a site. There is, however, a Hunter's Fury available to shut that one down. At this point, it is literally anyone's, like, point, right? Not necessarily map, but if XSET lose here, then again, their economy is a bit of a mess, and that gives more points over to Kafalar. This could be a massive turnaround.
Juliana just spraying through. That's going to be the run it back, and they're all dropping utility. They're all going to march on in if they're not careful. It is going to be Julius who gets the first pick after all of that. Rafina on the back foot, but again taken on down. But Juliana doesn't win the poke this time around. It's XSET with 2 players and Kafalar with 4. Again, they've got the advantage.
Oh, goodness me. No! Doesn't check the corners! These are no! It's all down to Petra to try and make something happen. 1v4. It's just not possible. We're going to be heading into yet another round. This is ridiculous. We came into this half and Kafalar only had 3 points on the board. They have managed to build themselves up to 8 points. And they started doing that when it was on match point. Like, suddenly we got to match point and they were like, oh, we should probably start doing something here. And XSET, they didn't even get to use the lockdown in that round because Mimi just dies straight away, like really early on in the round. And now XSET, you can see they're forcing up. They still have minimal armor to try and make something happen. They've got a Hunter's Fury. They still have that lockdown. But Kafalar are on such a tear right now. Every time they get onto site, they blast onto site so quickly, get that spike down, get those post-plant positions, and XSET are just unable to break through that defense.
Yeah, this is quite the show. It must be said. Kafalar want they don't just want to take this point. They want the epic comeback and a half. I mean, the fact that it's 8-12 is just, they know the pressure that they're under and they're handling it pretty well. It must be said. But now 2 ults as well. We got Astro with the ult pretty much ready to go as well. So this is still all to play for as we tick into that 1-minute timer. And we are going to see a good old sound wall.
Cosmic Divide to try and shut down any sound cues. This is really big. But of course, Kafalar can use this to their advantage as well. Remember, the spike is here on B. So that Cosmic Divide, it is a bait and a half. Mimi, however, has not fallen for it. Manages to get a little bit of chip damage and calls that through. So the rotation has come through already from XSET. Still have that lockdown and Hunter's Fury yet to use. And some interesting flanks all across the board. Oh my goodness.
Well, Petra fires off with the Fury, but we're going to get a counter Fury. And it is actually going to be Danny who goes down. First, Petra does go down in the process of all of that, and XSET do actually lose a second player as well. So the spike is planted, and Julius hits the deck. So it's a 3v3 situation as Lato is just camped right down there in the bottom corner. Sefia needs to cover them, gets the headshot. Really good pick. Their teammates are up in there as well, and that is going to be another point for Kafalar. Can you believe this?
Oh my goodness, they seriously, you know what, they turned their monitors on, right? They played the first half with their monitors off. They suddenly realized, like, that's why I can't see what's going on. And now with the biggest comeback that we've seen, at the very least in this tournament, they are doing so exceptionally well. Now, this is the thing. Once they get that spike down, if you give them time to get post plants, you're done. They have such good post plants. They're not allowing XSET to get onto site, that they cannot break through that defense. So XSET, the plan here, if they want to make this work, and now bearing in mind that this is going to be a little bit of an eco for XSET, so not an ideal situation to be in, but what they really want to do when they have the opportunity is shut down Kafalar before they have a chance to plant. Now, they've had this lockdown for a few rounds, but Mimi keeps dying really early on, so they haven't had a chance to actually use it. There's also the run it back available to get some information, but I don't think I want to see that utilized here on this eco round. Again, I want to see them be a little bit frugal and save up for a big power round to try and win it out.
Headshot from Sefia gets themselves on the board once again, and the Frenzy's going to try and come out with the run it back combined. Petra gets themselves a sheriff hit as well, and Kafalar find themselves losing 2 players. Letio and their teammate fires on food, but actually Letio goes down. So it's a 2v2 situation here. I think the spike will be planted. Now, XSET do have the ult here if they want to try and detain these two. Or they'll see if they can hold it on to the next point. I mean, you don't think they will do with the fact that they have pistols? No, they are going to do it. Mimi is going to go for it.
Oh, this is big. It's going to force them into the back of Boathouse and force them to move out. And once they peek out, they're going to try and get the swing. Oh my goodness, with the information!
Oh my goodness!
Not!
Julia goes forward and they get it! I can't believe they got that! They decided, you know what, we're not going to run and hide. We're going to run straight into the face of danger. And it paid off. They sprayed through the hut and caught the pair of them by surprise.
But then they had to move out. So the lockdown was in such a position that they wouldn't really have been able to hide out in Boathouse. So they have to push through. But the recon dart comes through, doesn't get destroyed, lights up exactly where the last 2 players from XSET are, and it's just swing out and get the kills. And now look where XSET are. We're at the 12-10. Kafalar has 3 ultimates in their bank. XSET are on another weird buy. They've even gone and bought up an Odin. No one is anywhere near the B site, so that Odin is not going to get value. And all they have left here is the Cosmic Device. They do have a res, and that saved them in the last map. But is it going to be enough to save them here? Because Kafalar are dangerously close to taking us to overtime.
Yeah, can you believe this? They're 2 points away from it. Sefia is going to fire on through. I don't think anybody got detained in the midst of all of that. And spraying on him, but I think they just backed into the killjoy. And they have! Mimi just sat there and waited in the corner. And that could do it. XSET have a flawless. XSET says F you with the comeback. A flawless on a defuse. And can you believe match 3 will come 13-10. What a finish to that point.
Heavens above. I cannot believe that is how this ends. Petra with the double kill with a freaking shock dart, which is absolutely ridiculous.